Thanks for tuning in to another video. This is going to be the third part of this video of me showing you how I am making this cherry writing desk. This is the bottom assembly right here. This is actually the bottom of the writing desk, and then up here is where the top of the writing desk is going to fit. I already have a panel glued up that's going to be the top for that. And I want to show you how I constructed this. It's a very solid piece of furniture. Well, without further ado, let's get to it. I hope you don't mind me sparing you some of the details of how a woodworker goes about processing wood. I didn't feel it necessary to show how we go through an S4S, a piece of wood, because most of you watching a video like this probably already know how to do that. Simple process. You go through the joiner first to flatten one side, you go through the planer, you go back to the joiner and make another straight edge, and then I just run it through the table saw to complete the process. Again, method, there's a lot of ways that you could do that. But in a home shop, that's probably the simplest way to do it, because not everyone has access to shapers and all that kind of equipment. So I'm going to show you the process so far. What I have is 4 pieces, 2 pieces for the long side, 2 pieces for the short side. And how did I secure all those together? Well, what I did is I used the good, well-known miter joint. Okay, just a 45-degree angle. And just a tip about that, if you're cutting miter joints and you want them to look tight and solid, cut it about 45 1/4 degree. And that's going to make sure that all those corners tuck together. Sometimes when it's a perfect 45, there's not enough wiggle room and you end up having joints that are open on the very end. And that doesn't look very good. Well, the way that I put these together was using a modern piece of equipment that many of you are familiar with. And that should be the dead giveaway right there. Those oval holes is the Domino Joiner. There's about 1,000,001 reviews of one of these things on YouTube. So I went ahead and sold my soul to Festool. I had to finally drop the money and get one. You know, I build so much furniture that it's worth it for me to have one. For a person who is doing this, and they might build one piece of furniture in their whole life, I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's not worth the money if you're going to do that. But if you're building fairly often, if you're going to use it all the time, man, I say go ahead and buy it, because it's such a convenience. And one thing that can't be stressed enough about the domino joint is just how strong it is. It's stronger than a biscuit. It's just as strong as a mortise and tenon. Now, I didn't break down and buy one of these for quite a long time. I just used biscuit joints, the standard Porter cable DeWalt type biscuit joint, and I was fine with that for a while. But I noticed a lot of times if I would build like a picture frame or something, I would miter it, I'd put it together, for whatever reason, those joints would burst. And I couldn't figure out why, but ever since I've been using the Dominoes, they don't do that. So there's a mini promotion for that. Again, I'm not sponsored by anybody, of course. It's just me working in my small shop, but I do highly recommend a Festool Domino Joiner. Like I said, over the long run, I think it's worth the money. So I can do the baseline I'm working with here. Domino joints are going in. I drilled these with 0 clearance. This is a 5mm by 3mm, of course, working with Festool with 9mm. The assembly on this is pretty straightforward. Line up your joints. Try to get them together. As you can see, it goes together extremely fast. I'm doing this shot to show you just how perfectly this joint goes together. That's no glue or anything. That's 2 domino joints on the end fitting together. Alright folks, that's the end of the domino joint commercial. Let's get on to the woodworking. Okay, now we have to measure our opening to know how big our piece is going to be that fits in there. This is 24 5/16. You know, I'm such a nice guy. I could have made a video that was easily an hour long joining and planing wood. I already have some blanks prepared. Let's go cut them down on the chop saw. Now we just have to check and make sure that this fits. And of course, it fits perfect. So now we got to check the other side. Now I have a confession to make. That other one fit perfect because of movie magic. This one, however, is just a hair off. So that gives me an opportunity to show you a cool shop trick. Have you ever been in a situation where you have to remove just a hair off of the side and you keep lining up your chop saw trying to do that, and by the time you're done you've cut too much off? Gosh, that can be really irritating. I'm going to show you the fastest way to take just a hair off of a board. This couldn't be any easier. I have a laser on my saw. It's very helpful. Sometimes it's not though. The laser is not helpful when you're trying to remove a very small amount, because if you line that laser up on the edge, it doesn't really help you locate like a hair thin cut. So I'm going to turn that laser off. Now here's what you do. You lower the blade, put your piece up against the blade, lift it up, and that's actually going to make a hairline cut. The reason being is because the kerf of the blade, that's the sawtooth blade, sticks out just a little bit further than the flat part of the blade. And so when you put it down and you line it up with just the blade, and then you raise it up, the blade flexes enough over that piece of wood that you can drop the blade down and make that cut. Let's do this real quick. Didn't look like much, I'm sure, and that's the point. Now, as you can see, we have a perfectly fitting joint. Just a little bit of rub is perfect. Now that we have perfectly fitting sides, the next thing we need to do is mark out where we're going to put all of our joints. Now what I'm doing in this case, and the reason that this construction is so solid, is all about joinery. Whenever you're building a piece of furniture or whatever it is, the joinery is the #1 and most critical ingredient of what makes either a solid and well-built piece of furniture or a not so solid and well-made piece of furniture. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put 2 tenons in the sides. I'm going to put 3 tenons across the edge. That will make for a total of 7 tenons on one side. Now that's solid. Wow, that was some fast marking out. I think I just set a new world record. Well, anyhow, now we're going to take all of our pieces. I have marks all around where we're going to put those Festool tenon joints, and we're going to go ahead and get all those plunged out. I want to show you, as promised now, that this entire assembly holds together without any glue. This is just tenons holding all of this together. Nice solid construction, I would say. In case you've been curious about how this piece fits into the entire project, I want to show you real quick a sub-assembly of this desk so far. This is a pre-sub assembly. There's no glue, no screws, and all I did was just sort of dry fit some of the pieces together to give you an idea of what this is looking like. And if you've been following, you've probably been wondering what this actually looks like. So this is sort of a pre-finished job. I still have to cut this top down and sand it flat, and then the next video is going to show me doing the process of doing all the inlays on the top of this desk. There is one thing that I want to mention about building a custom piece of furniture and building something really well. Ultimately, any good builder wants to be able to give their customer the satisfaction that what they're building will in fact last for generations, that their grandkids and their great-grandkids will be able to have this piece of furniture passed down, and it will be well designed, artistically and aesthetically it will be pleasing, but also structurally it will be well built. Now that's a satisfaction guarantee that will last not only for your lifetime, but for your grandkids' lifetimes as they learn the skills and crafts that you have now. I want to thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe. There is going to be more coming. Have a good day. Thanks.